So, ladies and gentlemen, let's say it's 2024. I'm making a pitch towards ABC or CBC or CBS or NBC or Fox, and he said, okay, imagine it. It's a police tutorial, police procedural, but we're going to sing. I probably laughed out of the place, but some 35 years ago, the proponents of this series, including the great Stephen Bochco, weren't laughed out of ABC. They were given a contract to do a short run of cop rock. Now, this American police procedural music and TV series was created by Stephen Bochco and William L. Finkelstein. It premiered on September 26, 1990, and broadcast 11 episodes before concluding on Boxing Day to December 26, and was a critical and commercial failure on every level. Now, key actors in the series included Barbara Basso, of course, of Hill Street Blues fame, the wife of Stephen Bochco, and Ronnie Cox. Team music for the event was called by Randy Newman. The opening theme was Under the Gun with composers Randy Newman, Mike Post, and several others. Now, 11 episodes. Again, producers Greg Hoblet, Charles Hyde of Hill Street Blues fame, Michael M. Robin, and a very, very bizarre multi-camera series. Now, the budget for the series allegedly was $22 million, so $2 million per episode. 48 to 49 minutes. 20th Century Fox put it together. Again, a multi-camera. Now, ladies and gentlemen, following the LA Police Department, Cop Rock features an ensemble cast of police officers and detectives as they solve crimes across the city, with the series mixing musical and choreography throughout storylines and introduce new characters. In its main storyline, Captain John Halder, played by Larry Joshua, investigates the involvement of Detective Vincent LaRusso, Peter Onorati, in the execution of murder suspect Tyrone Weeks. Subplots include Detective Ralph Ruskins, Ron McCarthy, growing jealousy of his wife, Officer Vicky Quinn, played by Ann Bobby, and her friendship with Officer Andy Campo, played by David Giannopoulos. Quinn helped drug addict Patricia Spence, played by Kathleen Wilhoit, recover a baby which Spence had sold for $200, and a relationship between corrupt Mayor Louise Plank, played by Barbara Basson, and Chief Roger Kendrick. Now, the pilot episode, again, this is a real plot, and it drew a lot of ratings, 10.3. U.S. viewers were 14.3. In this one, and that's where it became a major problem. An arrested gang in control of L.A., singing to We Got the Power, is acquitted on all charges of drug distribution due to lack of evidence. One of the gang's vehicles is pursued by the police. Drug dealer Tyrone Weeks flees the scene after shooting and killing a police officer, and the driver is arrested. After Weeks is captured in his home, an enraged Detective LaRusso executes him. Fellow police officers tamper with the crime scene to make it appear LaRusso acted in self-defense. Meanwhile, Officer Vicky Quinn is unable to convince drug addict Patricia Spence to enter rehab. Spence again later sells her baby daughter for $200. Now, some other key musical scenes in the opener was Detective Ralph Ruskin thinks of his wife, she chose me, while Mayor Louise Plank accepts a bride, she's the one, and the jury gives a verdict. He is guilty. Now, the show made sense from a non-musical standpoint, but not sense from a musical standpoint. Now, ironically, in the early 80s, a Broadway producer offered Bochco a proposal to convert the series Hill Street Blues into a musical. As the plan was not practical, the proposal was declined, but Bochco kept the idea in mind and thought about doing the opposite instead, converting a Broadway show into a police procedural TV series. Now, he knew a lot about the police procedurals because from his early work to Columbo to Hill Street Blues, he was considered like the genius. Now, in 1987, the ABC gave Bochco a production commitment for television future shows, and wanting to experiment, he developed Cop Rock as a bold and adventurous idea. The head of ABC Entertainment at the time, Bob Iger, was one of the only people willing to give him a chance, allowing the creation of the series. But we were hearing rumors at the time that he couldn't sell it in syndication, and I don't think Canada was really hot on giving an hour a week to another Bochco series that was so undefined. On the opportunity, James McDaniel stated that the media said it was impossible and that it was ridiculous, which it was, but nothing's impossible or ridiculous if you have the right pieces in place. Over 200 people auditioned for Cop Rock. Now, Peter Onorati, who portrayed Vincent LaRusso, Was introduced to the series by his wife after she talked with Howard McGillen, when also auditioned. Jokingly stated that he experienced singing at weddings. Honorano's agent, Kay Lieberman, set up an audition where he performed Fats Domino's Blue Monday. Now, one of the only actors with singing experience, Terry Austin, a very underrated performer, graduated with a Bachelor of Fine Arts and performed Lover Man and Breaking Up as Hard to Do at our audition. Now, the idea, we knew it was going to be a Bochco wife in the series. Now, Ronnie Cox, of all people, was told by pilot director Gregory Hoblit that he would get the role of Chief Roger Kendrick whether or not he could sing. Broadway performer Ann Bobby, however, had to audition, doing so on a Saturday when she saw her friend Jane Krasowski. Now, again, several cast and guest stars had previously appeared on Hill Street Blues, again, including Bochco's wife Barbara Basso, who played Faye Ferrillo on Blues and Major Plank on Cop Rock. Hill Street cast member Charles Hayde was a producer and directed one episode. The 7-episode Copophiliac opens with a roll call scene. The musical number Let's Be Careful Out There is based on the Hill Street Blues catchphrase. At the end of the scene, James Bay Sicken makes a cameo performance, uncredited without dialogue, as the Hill Street character Howard Hunter. Now, the series never did well with the critics. On Rotten Tomatoes, it had a rating of 5.3 out of 10 based on 17 reviews. The website's critical consensus states, Cop Rock's ambition to innovate the police procedural is admirable, but the contrast of grit and glam proves too jarring with unmemorable music, throwing the series' more promising dramatic beats askew. Now, on Metacritic, it got generally favorable reviews from 15 critics. Now, a critical and commercial failure, it was canceled by ABC after 11 episodes, after some 22 million American at the time was invested. The combination of fusion of musical performances with serious police drama and dark humor with its high-powered production talent made it infamous as one of the biggest TV failures of all time. TV Guide magazine ranked it number 8 on its list of the 50 worst TV shows ever and dubbed it the single most bizarre TV musical of all time. Now, despite a overwhelmingly negative reception in short run, the series has been rebroadcast in later years, with VH1 and A&E Network airing it on separate occasions later in the 90s, and of course on Trio in the 2000s. Now, the full series is released on DVD in Region 1. But ironically, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna love this. In 1991, it was nominated for 5 Emmys and won 2. Outstanding editing for a series and outstanding achievement in music and lyrics for the great Randy Newman. Now, it got a directing nod for Gregory Hoblit, sound mixing, and of course, achievement in music and lyrics. Oil of Olay, the song, was nominated. Now, international broadcast in the UK, Cop Rock was televised on BBC One and premiered on Monday, 30th September 91. The show premiered on Aussie TV via the 10 network on Thursday, 23rd of January 92 at 11 p.m. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can be glad to say nobody's ever tried this ever again. Although moonlighting previous to this had sort of musical elements. I tried watching one episode of Cop Rock. All I can say, Bochco's wife, who's really ruined most scenes in Hill Street Blues, playing Faye Ferrillo, she would come in as like her beef of the week. This show, like, on its best days, Hill Street Blues in a 49-minute episode, maybe 35 minutes work, because you had the Belker scene talking to his mother. He was arresting the same perp all the time. You got Charles Hayde and he's black, a co-cop always getting into it. The sex scene or the partial sex scene at the end. James Bay Sicken running around. I knew there was going to be problems with the series, but I watched one episode. I don't think, as a journalist who's covered a lot of crime cases, the first thing you think about on a perpetrator being in court, breaking open in song, or the judge, it throws a shade on the court and the police system. Life is not a musical. Life is a tragedy. Okay, and you come in this life tough and you leave empty because you're dead. You can't leave this life living, as we say. You may go to heaven, but for the time of year, life's a tragedy because you don't get everything you want, and time you get it for a while, how long you're going to hold on to it. We live in a world where basically lies are the truth, and truth is the lies, upside down, and people are in control of your everyday life that don't even know what it's like to be a human being. But the thing is, with Bochco, again, if Robert Redford came to a studio, and that's the only person I can compare it to because the director and all different stuff, he would probably approve Redford sight unseen because Redford has done some bombs, okay? But Bochco at the time was considered the best of his kind, not in 2025, but back then. So, I mean, you got Hill Street Blues, and the guy said, I want to do Hill Street Blues as a kind of a musical. You know, I mean, ABC has always taken, I did a podcast on Renegades, the famous Patrick Swayze series with the 9-minute opener that looked like a video. Again, there's fans out there for cop rock. I know there's people going to be listening to this and say, I like the series, and all the power to you. Anything with Randy Newman's going to be kind of positive. But in this case, I love LA. I just don't love cop rock, the misquoted Randy Newman line. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my take on cop rock, one of the most bizarre passion projects of Stephen Bochco's career. If you like what we're doing here with our TV reviews of the late 80s, early 90s, let us know what you like, comment, subscribe, or share.